start, a disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Any persons mentioned within the video are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Alright, let's get into the reading. Good morning, True Crime family. It is Genocide Jen. Happy Friday, guys. You have made it through the week. Let's get the weekend started, okay? So, want to kind of do a more in-depth, share with you guys an in-depth reading that I'm doing for Quinton Simon, and particularly looking into the mindset of the mother, Leilani. Everyone's kind of on the edge of their seat right now, kind of wait and see what comes out. If she tells where the baby is, or they find the baby. I do feel the baby was definitely thrown out on the trash and then taken to the landfill. That's why I felt the baby's hair blowing in the breeze last Sunday. The little baby curls just blowing in the wind. I could feel it. And I almost feel the wind whispering in me on my hair. That makes sense. It's kind of a weird way to describe that, but that's what it felt like. Alright, guys. So, just going to get into the cards and the read. Just looking at this morning, and this just gives me confirmation of what I've already been seeing in the cards and what I've got from Spirit. I do see Leilani, the biological mother, suffering from a lifelong battle with mental illness, stemming from her ancestors within the family. There's extreme amount of aggression, frustration, large amounts of pressure. Pressure busts pipes, guys, and that's, yeah, too much energy, too much pressure can also trip a breaker. And I believe Leilani tripped a breaker. I do believe she has recollection, though. She was pretty much waging war in her mind, in her head, and family influences, particularly I feel the grandmother. Grandmother pretty much added to what was already going on in her head. And grandmother, her mom, I think her name's Billy Joe, if I'm getting that right, she had put a tremendous amount of pressure on her daughter, just to be right, and some people sometimes just aren't, and it's just not, they're just not the product of that. They're not just going to come out that way. And I'm not making an excuse. I'm not saying that she's insane. By all means, she had other choices and didn't have to do this. It could have been another way, okay? So the card, the deck I'm using this morning is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And just get started with the cards, and I'll fill in a little bit more about what I see going on, and this may shed some light into the mind of Leilani, okay? And what happened to poor baby Quinton Simon. I do, as I was meditating before I started pulling cards, I do hear this. I hear too much fighting over the need to be right. Too much fighting. I hear that. It's just too much fighting, and I feel super overwhelmed, and I just got chills when I said that. I believe that was the root of this outcome, what happened, okay? It's a very sad story, and she's been a warrior in a long line of warriors battle within her own family, a mental battle, emotional battle, fighting over the need to be right, over power. I do believe she possibly had a dream, or more so just an idea was spawned, and she acted on it. She saw this as a solution, the medicine to the problem, if you will, the solution to the problem. I get the drum, and in Native American culture, the card I'll show you, I'll put it up on the screen here, is like a medicine wheel. The drums are used in ceremonial Native American ceremonies and things like that, sacred ceremonies, and dances and things. There's also the ghost drum, ghost dance, which they use a ceremonial drum to have communion with the dead and loved ones and things like that. This is the problem that had been looming around, and she was so thirsty and hungry for peace. She was a broken arrow. She wasn't right. She was a broken soul. And she longed to embrace and decided to. I'm feeling tremendous amounts of pressure, tremendous amounts of torment, anger, aggression, overwhelming frustration. I feel the next card that came out to say is the broken arrow. And this is talking about embracing the energy of peace. And it talks about letting go and be mended. Be mended in what was, making her ill, sick, worrisome, bothersome. Eating her alive, okay? Sometimes as parents we put too much pressure on our kids, and we want them to live their life our way, and that's not always God's plan. So a lot of times sometimes you have to get out of the way and let God do the work. Pray for your kids, pray for your loved ones, pray for your enemies, pray for those who don't have a voice. But sometimes we have to step out of the way and let God do his work, okay? And when we don't, sometimes we meddle and makes things a mess. So the next card that come out in the read for Leilani is the Elder card from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And the Elder card talks about moving beyond ancestral patterns. Like, I think this is this mindset that the grandmother had probably came from her mother, and that's how she raised her children, and that's how Billy Joe was trying to raise Leilani, right, wrong, and different. Sometimes we have to break those chains that we're born with from our parents and ancestors. You don't have to right their wrongs, and you don't have to right their wrongs through yourself, and you don't have to pay their dues. You have to break free of that, and that's what the Elder card's talking about. And I believe, like I said, this comes from the mother, and possibly her mother, Okay, and then the next card I got this morning was the High Priestess card. I do see, with all the fighting, the aggression, the violence, addiction, drug use, maybe even alcohol use, abuse, and things like that, a dark energy is attached to this. I actually hear the words, the devil was driving the cart or the horse. I'm not saying she was possessed, but we don't have to be possessed to be influenced in our actions and things, influenced by the devil and Satan himself. So, especially oppression, I am getting a lot of oppression. That's how Leilani was feeling, very oppressed. And this stems from the mother, okay? I do see a lot of misery, pain, fighting. As I was just sitting here thinking about this and working on this, putting this together, have you guys ever seen the movie? I believe came out like in the 80s. I was a kid. It's called Mommy Dearest. I just get that type of energy around this case. But I feel that little baby Quinton's fate, it was laid out a long time ago. Like I said, it comes from the grandma. Her hands may be clean, but sometimes the power of suggestion is very important and powerful in manipulating others. And the reasons behind those manipulations often are selfish and a bad intent and straight out of hell. I'm just going to say it like that, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's what I'm getting, all right? Okay, the next two cards I got the Sage card. This talks about being devoted and committed. I believe she, in her own way, was putting an end to the cycle, the ever-revolving cycle and pattern. She didn't want her children or any more children to grow up and live their life how she was doing. She wanted to break the chains that were binding her from passed down from her mother. Okay. Also, the Sage card tells me that she is confirmation, and that's why she did confess. It was her way of salvation, hopefully. A desperate attempt at salvation. She actually had choices. She just made the wrong choice, okay? A bad choice. Putting an end to the cycle. The next card is the Wise One. grow within your current situation. I do believe she saw this making her confession. Also, with the Sage card coming out, Sage is used in spiritual cleansings and things like that, cleansing your energy, and religious practices and things like that too. So this is also, again, lets me know that the landfill was empty because she either knew, or it was by chance, or God by fate. I don't know, whatever happened, things aligned, and I do believe possibly the remains of the landfill were incinerated, taken to a power plant, and used for fuel. That's not an uncommon practice. That happens all the time. That's what they do with the trash, okay? So fire equals purification. Sage, burning sage, you use that to cleanse. And what I mean by that is, by her confessing, you know, she was admitting her wrong. She was basically laying her wrong in front of the world, in front of Jesus' feet. Maybe, hopefully, seek forgiveness in hopes to right her wrong. In her own way, justice for Quinton and maybe all her children. Okay, and maybe the children that had come before her, and maybe her mom, and maybe her mother's brothers and sisters and generations before. And maybe going forward, maybe she'll be able to help someone else in a similar situation not make that same choice. Make a better choice, okay? We always have choices. The thing is, with choices, we live and die with the choices we make. George Jones, thank George Jones for that. Good old George Jones. All right. Okay, the next card I got is the Spirit Fox card. And to me, the message here is pointing out to me, Spirit's pointing out, trusting. This happened because she's trusting a dark fox-like energy, and the fox energy is basically someone who's deceitful, conniving, sly, cunning, they think, and I feel that the Spirit fox energy basically is something that's like riddled with lies, deceit, and there's a lot of power struggle going on, okay? Power struggle, control was also a very big influence here. Someone's definitely a control freak, overbearing and controlling things in their nature. All right, let's go to the next card. All right, guys, so the next card I got is entitled Druid. Talks about holding the space. I do believe this happened at the home. The bio grandmother's home, the actual owner of the property. I do feel and see very clear and strong that the baby was, if it was at the hand of Leilani and not an accident due to negligence, the baby was drowned in the pool. And there's reasons why I say that, and I said that in my other videos about Quinton. I had the moon card and the sun card coming out right beside each other in the spread. Now, with the moon, we know the moon is a source of light in the night, and what's done in the darkness shall come to light. So a lot of times in these reads, things like that will give you a timeline, as well as if you match that with the phase of the moon and whatnot and such. But also give you a different perspective, way of looking at things and see how they align. And what I'm saying is, so, and with me, the moon card a lot of times reminds me, brings up the energy like a reflection type energy. I do see, I do feel this definitely happened during the nighttime. That's for 100%, definitely 100% on that. And, so the moon being a source of light, when the light is turned on, you're going to have two things. You're going to have it gives you a source of radiance, which is also the sun. So yeah, it does tell me the baby drowned in the pool during the nighttime. Yeah. All right, I hope that makes sense to you guys, how I'm explaining that. You guys do share in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are too, okay? I've got a couple more cards. There's 2 more cards in this spread, and I'll go over those now. Is the Mirror Guardian card. This talks about taking time to reflect. And again, reflection is key here in this case. It's something that's constantly emerged in the cards and the reads and everything I've looked at for baby Quinton. So yeah, it's taking time to reflect. She's looking back, And the last card we got is the Peacekeeper card. And it talks about letting go of the need to be right. Carrying your cross, laying your burdens down. I believe Leilani laid her burdens down. And yeah, I really do. That's what I'm getting. And that was the last card in the spread. So I hope this shed some light onto the reasons why motives Leilani may have had and reasons she may have taken baby Quinton's life. I do pray that they find the baby. I hope he's recovered. I feel it may even be today. I actually just got that. It just came to me. I really feel like this afternoon. And taking time to reflect. Again, this all is a common denominator that keeps coming out here regarding this case. I do feel, and it could also be spirit reminding us to go back and reflect on everything that we know thus far, and it'll help fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle here, okay? All right, guys, I hope this helps. As always, it's Genocide Jen. I love you guys. You are the best. Light and love. Happy Friday, guys. If you share this out, share it to a friend, someone interested, has interest in the case. I may know someone's that's suffering about mental illness and may need help as well. Save a life. Can help. All right, guys, it's Genocide Jen. I'm out.